Hello everybody, I'm back with another video, my journey to retirement at 60. As I've previously mentioned in other videos, currently 45, soon to be turning 46, and I've been thinking a lot recently about the future, not 20 anymore, not 30 anymore, the realisation that 60 isn't far away. And previous generations, it was normal to retire at 60. They probably took it for granted. In this day and age, that just isn't happening. So we have to think a little bit more outside the box if we do want to retire at 60 and not wait until we're 68, 67. And as someone pointed out in the comments, by the time we reach 60, 70, maybe 70 will be the time when a lot of people will be retired. Maybe state pension won't kick in until you're 70. So these are the things we've got to think about. I, for one, don't want to be getting towards 70 when I'm retired. 60 seems like a decent number. 55 is quite soon and maybe unrealistic, although who knows. But 60 definitely is, I feel it's an age where as long as I look after myself, keep doing the things that I'm doing to a certain extent, then 60 should be an age where I can continue to travel, enjoy life, do the things that we can't do just at the moment, because we have 3 young children under the age of 10, the youngest one being 3. So our lives are very different now than when I turned 60. When I turn 60, my youngest daughter will be 18, so that for us will be a perfect time to start thinking about doing some things for ourselves that we haven't done for such a long time. And myself and my wife, before we had kids, we used to like travelling. We went to Australia for 5 years, as previously mentioned, and before that, before I met my wife, I used to go to a host of places. I did Camp America, did that for 4 years. Went to South Africa, went to Australia doing the working travelling holiday. Where else did we go? We went to South Korea, was a stop off. All sorts of places. I've been to see my friends in a few places abroad recently, just for very short trips, but definitely in retirement, or as we like to call it, financial freedom, travelling is definitely one of the things I and my wife would like to do. So we need a plan. So how we're going to do it is going to be the question that we're going to pose for probably the next 15 years. Hopefully towards the end of the 15 years we'll have got some answers. Some considerations. So we live in the north of England, so anybody who's watching this from south of England or elsewhere might find that their cost of living is a little bit more. So in the north of England things aren't quite as expensive. By 60, the house will be paid off. I say will be paid off, so that's a promise to myself. We got our mortgage when I was 36, so by my calculations, and I will have to check this, the mortgage should be paid off by the time I'm 61, so we'll just have to make some adjustments and make sure that's paid off by 60. So that'll be one thing. The mortgage will be paid off. That'll help immensely. Cost of living is something that will change from person to person. I've been reading up, and at the moment, if you're retired, you can you've got some options, haven't you? You've got comfortable living. There's the kind of make-do living where you're going to live on the minimum, but it means you don't have to go to work. And if you want something more comfortable, and you want to enjoy the finer things in life, then you need to probably up your budget a little bit more. So these are some of the things that we have to consider, I have to consider, you have to consider, if we want to be retiring a little bit earlier. So other considerations, so the house will be paid off, there will still be bills to pay, there will still need to be things to pay for, holidays, gas and electricity, we'll still need fuel, other things to pay for, so we will need an income. So that is going to be the big question. Where is the money going to be coming from the age of 60? So if we're not working anymore, teacher pension won't kick in till later on, late 60s. National insurance, state pension won't kick in till late 60s. So this is going to be the big part of the next 15 years. This is going to be the big question which needs answering. Where is the money coming from? What we're going to do over the next few videos is we're going to be discussing potential investments, potential income and passive income. Now, passive income isn't even a word that I was familiar with until I was in my late 30s. Maybe heard of it, but hadn't actually thought about how I could get that involved in my life. So hopefully it's going to help me, it's going to help you. We'll do the journey together and we'll find out what sort of income sources we can come up with. I've mentioned in my previous video one of my many ideas, which is self-storage. This is something I still look into daily. It's something that I'm becoming more knowledgeable about, and it's probably the number one on my list of possible ventures which I will possibly go ahead with. So self-storage is definitely something I'm looking seriously at, and I want to be able to report back on to you guys on this video and to myself, take accountability and come up with progress reports. At the moment, I've got about 25 different towns on my list. So my list is different towns in the UK. I'm going for England, Scotland and Wales, anywhere in England, Scotland and Wales, where I might be able to open up a self-storage facility. And if this works, this will be a massive change. It'll be a big change for us, it'll be a big change for me, but it will mean the plan will be one step closer. So this is why self-storage for me is number one on the list. Not only is it something that could help with income on my way to retirement by 60, it's something that I could potentially hand over to my children. And when I say retirement, I have to keep remembering we don't mean retirement, we mean financial freedom, because financial freedom means that we can choose if we want to retire and do no work, or if we want to choose when we work. The big part of it for me is day to day, Monday to Friday, the weekends, being able to do what we want. And if part of that is working, then that's great. If part of it is traveling, going to do other things, then that's what we want really. Okay, I've looked into this a little bit, and because I'm a teacher and I've always thought about, will we get a pension? I've always thought of it as in, how much will we get each month for the rest of our lives? But if I'm not really going to be thinking about the teacher pension, not going to be thinking about the national insurance too much, I'm going to have to be thinking more like a pot. Let's say, for instance, we start self-storage and it brings us in a monthly income, and it's great, fantastic monthly income, but it's still hard work. There's still a lot to do, and I still have to be very present. I might want to sell that business. So the question becomes, one, are we going to be in a position where we're going to be happy with the monthly income and the work is just as and when? Self-storage could do that. It is a business where you can set it up to be contactless, manless, in which case that is the perfect business for me. If I do decide to have a business and sell a business, and I have a pot, I've been looking into this and I've come across the 4% rule. So this is something that we can all take away with us from this video. The 4% rule, retiring at 60, with the 4% rule, a big stack of cash that you're going to take 4% from each year. So the numbers work out that if you wanted to retire at 60 and you wanted 25 years to 30 years worth of income, you're taking 4% each year. So here are the numbers. So an income, 4% income each year that you're going to take off the stack, £500,000 is needed. That will give you £20,000 each year. You would have to live frugally, but it's possible. We also have to consider inflation. So £20,000 each year might be difficult, especially if there's two of you. So £500,000 might be difficult. Bump that up to 750,000 pounds, it probably starts to become more doable. £1 million is what is probably needed for you to enjoy the nicer things in life. Taking 4% out of that per year gives you £40,000 a year. If we think about inflation, it makes it realistic, kind of brings it home that £1 million for £40,000 a year is probably what's going to be required for a comfortable standard of living. Okay, so that's the number that I've got in my head, £1 million. Okay, we know if we know we're going to need £1 million, then we have to start thinking how we're going to do it. Okay, so that is the question I'm going to leave you with. Have you thought about these things? Are you in a job where you can wait to retire? Can you wait till you're 70? Do you have to wait till you're 70? Maybe you're in a position where you're in a job and you're paying into a pension where you can retire at 60. Maybe you're like me and you're thinking, we need something else, or I'm not sure if I'm happy to continue full-time in my job until I'm 60, 70. Let us know your thoughts. We'll revisit this in another video. Let me know your position, let me know your thoughts and any golden nuggets of advice that you can pass on to anybody else or me, and we'll revisit this in a future video. Thank you for watching. See you next time.